One and I guess Wii U. I'm not really going to count Wii U, to be honest, because I don't really want one, and there's just nothing really there for it, in my opinion. But I do want to go ahead and talk about Xbox One and PS4 and tell you where my stance is, at least on the consoles, because right now I don't have any of them. Not because I can't necessarily afford them. I just don't personally think at this point in time the consoles are worth their money. That being said, if I had to get a console, I would probably get the PS4 only because I just kind of like PlayStation better. Um, I just like the way their controller feels. At least I liked it on the PS3. Now, the PS4, again, I'm not big on the PS4. I was big on PS3 because I enjoyed PS3. It had a lot to offer. Blu-ray, internet browsing, video chatting, free online play, all kinds of stuff. It just had a lot of benefits. It had a lot of pros. But the new PS4 really just doesn't do anything for me, and none of the consoles really do anything for me. Right now, I currently have a AMD Radeon R9 270X overclocked in my PC right now. And I've used that as a supplement for next-gen gaming, if you will. And it's not me being a PC elitist, just saying PC is overall just better and all that, because I do think there is a reason to have consoles. I just think it's kind of a crappy reason as to why you would want or have to have a console. Like for obviously the console exclusive games. That's kind of the big thing is, well, oh, console exclusive games. That's why you'd want a console. But for me, it's got to be more than that. When I'm given $400 or $500 for a console, I really don't want to give that kind of money when at the end of the day, I don't feel like I got my money's worth out of it. I think a lot of it also is because I'm getting older. I'm getting less caring about video games. Recently, I've just been buying DVDs. That's why on my channel you've seen a bunch of DVD updates and things and unboxings and whatnot, because I just haven't bought any video games. I just don't really care that much about games anymore. I mean, I like having them streamlined on PC because PC offers, real cheap prices, and I'm a cheapskate, I'll be honest. That's why I'm currently gaming on PC. I can get the games real cheap. They play really nice because they have good resolution and frames per second, and the fact that the games, they're a good price, and you can play them for free. You can play them online for free. So that's just kind of the pros I see out of PC versus console, where really the only thing I see good about console is unless the PC gets a bad version, like a really bugged version of a game, or, I do understand people's complaints with PC. Like, some people don't like going through fixing stuff. That's another kind of issue I have ran into with PC sometimes, is with console you don't have that problem. But at the same time, as far as right now is concerned, I don't personally have an interest in getting a console anytime soon. It doesn't mean I'll never get one, and it doesn't mean, I won't get any of them, like, at all. Like, even the Wii U, maybe I'll get that one day. I personally don't think so, because there's just nothing on that system that I want. And I personally think the Wii U is a bit overpriced. Now, had the Wii U been $250, I think it would be a lot better off, but it's like $300 or $350, and I'm just like, that's ridiculous. That's way too much money. Especially nowadays when you get PS4 and do so much stuff. Um, but I guess I'll just go ahead and give, a little bit of my opinion on Xbox One and PS4 and what would I want to see from both. I wanted to get Drive Club on PS4, but quite frankly, Drive Club has not impressed me anymore. All the things I've been hearing about it has just been pretty negative, like lack of cars, the fact that the release date has been pushed back like a bunch of times. It was supposed to be a launch game, and here in 2 months we're gonna near the end of getting to the PS4's launch date. It'll been out a year, and Drive Club still isn't out. I don't even know when it's coming out. But Drive Club was a game I was looking forward to. Watch Dogs was a game I was looking forward to, and as you could see, they botched the crap out of that game. And pretty much the best version is the PC version, But they've even botched that because they took away the E3 2012 build, in quotes, settings away. And they've patched it to where you can't add that little text file to get the E3 2012 build. You basically just get a watered down kind of console version that can actually do 1080p 60 frames. But you can't do like all the added textures and all the other things that they had for that, super awesome build that we were supposed to get. So that kind of bummed me out. So, like I said, other than those two games, those were two of the biggest games I was looking forward to. And they've both just disappointed me so much that I just don't really see the point in getting a console. That's as far as the PlayStation side. I know Watch Dogs isn't a PlayStation exclusive, but I just figured I'd tack that on there because it was one of the games I wanted to get. Now moving up to Xbox One with Killer Instinct, because even though I think I've bagged Killer Instinct in the past, I still believed the same thing. I still don't think they should have done the Season Pass thing, or the Season 1, and here's Season 2, like they're doing that now, and apparently they've changed developers, they've changed um, from Double Helix to Iron Galaxy, I believe, is what I've been told. So, I mean, it's just like, I don't even want that game. Like, I don't want to get an Xbox One for one game. Like, I would love to play Killer Instinct, but the payment option that they're making you do for the game, and the fact that, you know, it's just getting an Xbox One for $500. Granted, I think it's now cheaper. I think it's $400 now, and they don't have the Kinect. But even that isn't really that good of a deal to me, because still at the end of the day, I'd rather have the stuff on PlayStation, personally, because I don't care for the Xbox controller. That's one unfortunate thing I kind of have to do with PC right now, is use an Xbox controller. But I know there's third-party software and stuff to be able to use, like PS4 controller. But even getting down to the PlayStation controller, the new PS4 controller, the DualShock 4, I'm not a fan of that either. I held it in my hands and I love the DualShock 3. I was always an advocate for these controllers. I'm holding it up like you can actually see what I'm holding, but I loved that controller. And the fact that Sony has just done so much to disappoint me, the fact they've changed the controller, they've cheaped out on their new DualShock 3s. I just got one last year for my birthday, and it didn't even last a year, you know? And that always bothered me. And the fact they changed the design, and they're making you pay for online now, and, oh, but it's tied in good because you got PlayStation Plus, which really isn't that good of a deal, because PlayStation Plus, you have to keep the subscription to PlayStation Plus, otherwise you don't get to keep the free games and all that other stuff, so it's not really that good of a deal. And it's more or less like their competition for like Steam and stuff, and quite frankly, I still would rather have the Steam sale, because the Steam sale allows me to, once I bought that game on Steam sale, I get to keep it. I don't, it's not being an Indian giver and saying, oh, well, you bought that game on Steam sale. Well, I can't afford to pay my subscription this year, or this month, or however you pay for it, because $50 isn't cheap, just for saying, oh, I want to play online, when before PS3 was free. And then the funny thing was, a lot of people were actually saying, well, the PS4 has to make you pay for it because of the hacking that happened in 2011. They have to have more secure stuff. And what do you know? PS4 got hacked like, what, a few weeks ago or a month ago? I don't remember exactly when it was, but it got hacked, like a few weeks ago or something. And it's like, really? We're still paying for this stuff, and you still get hacked. Granted, I understand that can happen to anybody, but that seemed to be what the whole reasoning why you were paying for it. Like, you're paying for it because you had to pay for PlayStation Plus, and most people weren't paying for PlayStation Plus when it was on PS3. Some people had it, but most people didn't care about it. But now they've kind of tied you in, and now you're forced to get it. You're not forced to get online, but it's like, some of these games are not even fun without the online component. And the fact that I can play it on PS3 for free, and then, oh, well, I have to turn around and spend that on, PS4? And really, in all honesty, another thing that kind of woke me up with the whole consoles and online stuff is the fact that they're kind of a dying breed as far as playing an online game. Like when was playing Battlefield 3 on PS3. Nowadays the game is pretty much dead, or it's in its dying state. While on PC, the community is still very active for Battlefield 3. Even Bad Company 2 is still very active. And I know Bad Company 2 has been dead for at least 2 years on PS3. You know, so I don't get it. I don't get the justification behind buying an online pass of some sort, you know, a subscription. It's just not me, personally. If you like PS4 and Xbox One, that's fine. I'm not trying to trash your opinion on it, but in turn, please respect my opinion on the fact that I think the overall idea is just it's a ripoff. It's just, you know, companies and all kinds of stuff, corporations, just dipping into your pockets more and more and more. You know, we used to get games for $50 and they were complete. Now we're getting $60 games and they're halfway incomplete, and then they resell you DLC, charge more and more money. And now that we got the online component in there as well, stuff's just getting too expensive. And then you got your headsets and all your other crap that you bought on PS3, and half the time it doesn't work on PS4 or the new Xbox. You know, it's just like that's what I don't get. That's why I see consoles as kind of gimmicky sort of things. Granted, I'm not going to be a hypocrite necessarily, because I'll probably still end up getting one because there's games I want for it. But if everything was released on PC, there would be a lot of people not buying consoles. Let's just be honest with ourselves. I know there are some people out there that don't know how to build PCs or whatever. They don't understand it, so they wouldn't be on the PC bandwagon. But if all these games were there, I can tell you that console sales would be a lot less, because everybody would just be on PC. They'd be like, well, there's no benefit in going to console. But now it's like there's console exclusive games like I'm just going to throw some out there. For example, Final Fantasy, Army of Two. You know, games that I'm never going to be able to get on a PC because they're just never going to come out. And that's unfortunate. It really is. And a lot of the JRPGs and stuff, they're only going to be coming out on console. I mean, there's some that are on PC, but a lot are just staying on like console, mainly Sony's platform. So it's kind of disappointing at the end of the day. But I just wanted to tag that all in there and just give my opinion on consoles. And I'll still probably end up getting one at the end of the day, but I'm more or less feeling forced to kind of get one. Like, if it was all on PC, I wouldn't even look at a console anymore. Like, not in the state that they're in. If they were like PS3 or something like that, where the stuff was free, and even back in like PS2 days, you know, where you got a full complete game, and here's the game, and, you know, and it was actually worth giving the $50 a lot of times because the game was full and complete. Now it's, let's release an incomplete product, charge $10 more on the MSRP price, and then, you know, and then it still comes out like crap, like Battlefield 4 or Watch Dogs being bugged, or, you know, various other things. It's just, it's annoying. And it's something I don't like taking part in. I don't even buy new games anymore. I don't buy I don't pre-order any games. I guess that's what I'm saying. I don't pre-order any games anymore because every game is such a disappointment anymore that you get all hyped up for it, and then it's like you're really nowhere at the end of the day. You know, you put the game, you get the game home, put it in, and you get something like Battlefield 4 where the game is just completely broken and needs like 6 million patches before it works. Or Watch Dogs, where they've just watered the game down so much. It's like it could have potentially been really good. I don't know if it could have been a GTA killer, but it could have been something, you know? And it's disappointing at the end of the day to see the state of consoles as what they used to be and how great they used to be in comparison to now, where they're just, for me personally, it's just too expensive. It's just, quite frankly, too much money to throw at for only lasting 6 years or so, you know. And I guarantee you these consoles, people are saying these things can do 4K gaming. That is a load of crap. Okay, there's no way these consoles can do 4K gaming. Unless they have a big patch or, with something like Mantle coming in, they're going to need some heavy kind of API in order to be able to run 4K. Because when you're struggling to run a game like Watch Dogs at, 1080p 60 frames, I mean, how do you honestly expect to get 4K out of this? And that's from what I'm told. Everybody's been saying, yeah, these consoles are 4K ready. I don't see it. I don't see it being even possible. You know, I don't see it happening. When we're struggling to run, I mean, there should be not be any struggles at all running a game like Watch Dogs at all with these new consoles. And the fact that they're struggling, the fact that PS4 has to have it at 900p 30 frames a second, that's saying something. I mean, we haven't even started the generation. We're already seeing just the lack of how much these consoles can actually do versus like PS3 when it started to come to life a couple years into its life cycle. And you saw games like Metal Gear Solid 4 looking really good and just mind-blowing, and you saw games like Grand Theft Auto 5, which looked pretty much next gen to me. Granted, they were 720p, had some frame loss issues here and there, but they still looked good. But nowadays, you're getting games like Watch Dogs, and it's not holding up. You know what I mean? And the fact that these games are already suffering problems, it's just like, I just don't see the point of the investment. The price doesn't outweigh what I'm actually going to get at the end of the day. You know, it doesn't seem like a good benefit at all. So that's my take on consoles. I didn't expect there to be any, I didn't expect to run for 17 minutes on this, but it was really something I wanted to talk about because people have asked me, when am I going to get a PS4? When am I going to get a Xbox? Which everybody knows not to ask me that because chances are I'm not going to get one. I have a 360, and quite frankly, I don't ever play it. I have it for a couple exclusives, and that's it. Um, and that's it. I mean, Xbox One, just not really interested in it. Other than Killer Instinct, I'm not really interested in it. Even Sony's exclusives. I've never been a big fan of Sony's exclusives, but I do like Gran Turismo, and the new Uncharted game, I gotta say, Uncharted is something I would play. But outside of that, I mean, I wanted to play Drive Club, but it's looking disappointing. And just the console exclusives. I mean, there's more on PlayStation in a way, I guess, for me than there is on Xbox, which is just Killer Instinct. I don't really care about Halo anymore. Don't really care about Gears of War. I still haven't bought Gears of War 3. So I just don't really have an interest in Gears of War anymore. Um, Forza, really no interest. Um, Even Gran Turismo is not really that interesting to me, but I would still take it. Um, if I had to pick like two, consoles, and I'm like, okay, which one do I pick? Obviously, if I already have PS4, then I'll just get Gran Turismo. I just don't see myself giving all that kind of money and all that kind of stuff for Xbox One and having all those issues. I think I have a different stance on Xbox One. I think I have a more positive stance, but it's not much more positive. It's not like, oh yeah, I'm totally going to get one of these over a PS4. I don't really see it happening. Maybe one day, maybe they'll make a super cheap version and I'll get one, but just quite frankly, PS4 and Xbox One for me, just for me personally, they're just not worth it right now. Maybe if they get like a really nice bundle going on, or at least cheaper console prices. I mean, for no more than what these things are, quite frankly, like I've said before, they could have just been add-ons. They could have been like the 32X. That's literally what these things feel like. They feel like standalone 32X systems. They don't feel like they're adding that much to the table. Yeah, Battlefield 4 was able to do very well with it. 1080p, 60 frames, and the 64 player. Yeah, that was promising. But a lot of other games aren't fulfilling those same things. They're not really holding themselves up there. And now that the hype's kind of gone for PS4 and Xbox One, I think we can really non-objectively see how good these things are getting to be. So, there you go. That's my opinion on consoles right now. Hopefully, maybe one day it'll change and I'll be more interested in them in the future. But until they really start getting some of these things ironed out, and until I guess the state of gaming changes, they're just not really going to interest me. Yes, I'm going to get the PS4 version of Mortal Kombat X. You know, I'll probably be getting the collector's edition. But I'm only getting it because on PC, they're not even going to probably have a collector's edition. They'll have the game, but they probably won't make a collector's edition for PC. So I'll just get it on PS4. If I have a PS4 by then, cool. If I don't, that's fine too. I'll probably just get it on PC or something. You know, it's not really a big deal. But anyway, I've stretched this video on long enough. 22 minutes, well, 21 minutes, but, you know, I think I've stretched this on long enough. I think you guys get my point. And I just wanted to give my opinion on it. So, again, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Take care. And we'll see you next time. Peace.